Housing Development Program and the globe. Number one, Housing Development Program.
Typically, rent in most parts of Nigeria is paid annually, and sometimes a 2-year advance is required for new tenants. Tenants are required to pay their rent on an annual basis. Some landlords may even ask for 2 years' rent paid upfront. Monthly rent payment is not a common practice in Nigeria. Glad to have you join me on yet another informative episode of Housing Development, where we discuss housing and all that concerns it. As always, I am your housing diva, Fleur Annie. I will be back after the news making rounds in the housing sector.
The Housing Development Advocacy Network, HDAN, has commended the President Bola Tinubu-led federal government for its dedication to infrastructure development, particularly the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Rail Line project. According to the group, this initiative marks a crucial advancement in boosting transportation and connectivity along coastal areas, showcasing the government's commitment to national progress. However, HDAN acknowledges stakeholders' concerns regarding the potential repercussions of the Coastal Road project on communities along its route. The proposed project alignment in Lagos State has sparked controversy due to alterations, raising concerns among residents and property owners. HDAN shares these worries, stressing the need for stakeholders' involvement to minimize potential harm, especially with the imminent demolition of over 500 houses from Alpha Beach to Ekpe. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Musa Jangiwa, has revealed that the federal government has allocated 675 hectares of land for the Diaspora City project, situated in Maitama 2 within the Federal Capital Territory. This was disclosed during a visit by a delegation from the African Descendants in Diaspora Union, led by the Union's Diplomatic Administrator for Nigeria, Dr. Abraham Onwubuya. The minister restated the government's dedication to fostering an accommodating atmosphere for Nigerians residing in the diaspora to engage in the nation's housing market. The minister said the project would encompass diverse housing options such as bungalows, semi-detached and detached duplexes, and mansions, demonstrating its inclusive design. Operators in the built environment have blamed the rise in slums in the country on the shortage of affordable houses for the less privileged. During an interview with journalists, the Executive Secretary of the Association of Housing Corporation of Nigeria revealed that families experiencing economic challenges were turning to slums for housing, either because of unaffordable rents or the stigma associated with returning to villages without resources. Similarly, the Managing Director of Fame and Oyster and Coal Nigeria, Femi Oyedele, stated that the absence of sufficient housing alternatives led individuals to live in slums, emphasizing that the plight of those relocating to slums stemmed from necessity rather than choice.
For more housing, finance, and construction news, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. Recently, the senator representing Delta North, Ned Nwoko, announced that he will be initiating a bill titled 1 Month Rent Limitation and Landlords Registry Act to allow tenants to pay their rents monthly instead of the current 1 year, 2 or 3 year practice. if passed into law. The senator said the essence of the proposed bill was to aid tenants pay their rent easily, thereby fostering a cordial relationship between the landlords and the tenants. Well, let's watch as some housing industry experts react to this.
Different countries have different rules when it comes to renting homes. But here in Nigeria, one thing stands out. Most people pay their rent once a year. This means that the most common rental policy in Nigeria is the annual rental scheme. However, recent proposals have ignited discourse nationwide, spearheaded by Senator representing Delta North, Senator Ned Nwoko, and also endorsed by the Lagos State government. The notion of implementing monthly rent payments has emerged, promising to reshape the rental system across the nation. But not everyone is on board with that idea. Some persons worry it might be tricky to put this plan into action. They are concerned it may not work for the economic system in the country. Amidst all the back and forth, experts in the build industry are sharing their thoughts. Let's hear what some of them have to say about this.
You hear of all these, it's like someone that has cancer being given mentholatum to go and rub on, to be rubbing on the cancer. You know, it doesn't match, you know. It shows that those who are making such proposals within this environment, this Nigerian economy, they don't really know what they are talking about. They are only, I'll say, playing to the gallery. They don't understand the economics. And only people like that will be talking about monthly rent. Because how will someone who takes a loan from a bank pay the, service the loan by giving monthly tenancies out to Nigerians? It cannot work. It will not work. It doesn't even make sense.
So yes, it is a good wish that we have monthly rental. But monthly rental only reflects that you earn it monthly. But you know, a lot of us, a lot of our business people in Nigeria do not earn money monthly. They are businessmen, and the lump sum that they get is not on a monthly basis. So if we can get structure, that reflects the monthly payment, by all means, it is good. But mind you, if you look at the lower strata of the industry, there are some people that pay monthly rent. They pay their monthly rent. It's a higher level that have to do 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And this 1 year, 2 years, 3 years came from development. When you had building leases and the developers saw that if they took 3 years, they would pay up when interest rates were still 4 or 5%, or lower than 7% in that sense. So that is really where these 3 years came from in that regard. So yes, I do support monthly rents, but our structure must be able to reflect it. Law cannot do it internally, but the structure, the economic structure and ecosystem will drive the ease of doing that.
No, it's a good thing if the tenants can pay. It's okay, there is no problem about that. But I hope it will not pose a lot of management challenges that on month-by-month basis, you keep making up payments. There's no problem about that. And I support it, provided it is achievable and sustainable.
We don't have road, and you see at times if it is raining, you will see a lot of people will go by the roadside. They'll be thrown dirt on the main road. We also doesn't have toilet. You see a toilet, you still have to 30 tenants, they are using one. You can't leave your door open, go and buy something. Before you will know, Babambola will enter. By the time you will take them to police station, 1 hour is too much, the police people will release them. In fact, we don't know what is happening.
This is the situation with many citizens in not just Nigeria. Are we ready for this conversation? What is the plight of an average Nigerian citizen in regards to housing? Housing is a fundamental human right, and these issues must be addressed.
Hello, my name is Casey Rust. I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Affordable Housing Finance in Africa, and we're based in Johannesburg, South Africa. Please keep watching Housing Development Program. It's a great show.
Welcome back. The program is Housing Development. Which method of payment is more convenient for renters anyway? Let's find out on Voices on the Streets.
No, monthly what can still work. Because maybe you are renting a house now, 700,000, or let me just say 860 or per this. If you share it, 770,000 naira. So when you are paying monthly, you don't need to go and look for friends to do contribution to save money for rent. You know, if you are paying house of 1 point something now, you have to go to your office, depends on your income. You gather friends before you can pay that kind of, because you can't get that kind of bank money based on your income. So it's a welcome idea, Sha.
Why they are collecting more yearly is because of them too. We have the landlord too. We have something by collecting yearly. But if you say you should be paid monthly, monthly is just like say you if that money cannot solve any problem for the landlord now.
It better make the landlord collect every month for house rentage. Depend everything will be okay. When everything is okay, they can pay for 1 year. So now let them pay for every month for house rentage. It will be better for them. They will get chance to settle themselves, arrange themselves because of the situation we do for the country.
Based on my experience so far here, I prefer the quarterly or annually payment because paying monthly, once you are out of job for a month, so you will need to pack out. But quarterly, it will give you time to prepare.
The time when I entered the first time, I pay 1 year. Now the other year, I used to pay 6 months. If you pay 1 year, almost 12 months, you are resting about 12 months before you pay another 1 year.
I prefer the yearly plan because I'm a baker. Because I don't have guarantee of baking every time to save money enough to pay for the monthly month. Because if you say you want to pay monthly, what if you don't have enough income that same month? That means you cannot pay your rent. But if you can bake, if I can pay for that 1 year, I'm free from the stress of the many months.
I would say I wouldn't go with monthly payments because monthly payments have a lot of disadvantages. Okay, imagine you're working and you get your salary at the end of the month. Imagine your employee sacks you. How would you pay for your rent? So I would say I wouldn't go with monthly payment and yearly payment as well. I don't go with monthly payment. I would prefer we do quarterly payment. That we divide the payment into 4. That I have enough time to maybe work, gather my rent, and pay to the landlord to prevent any unforeseen circumstances.
Voices on the Street there, you've heard the opinions of some Nigerians on which payment plan is the best for them when it comes to house rent in Nigeria. It should be all about the voice of the people. I will be back shortly.
They live in the shadows, forgotten corners of our city, overcrowded, unsanitary, lacking basic amenities. These are the slums where millions struggle to exist. But there's a flicker of hope. An ambitious project is underway. Imagine homes with running water, proper sanitation, schools and playgrounds for children, a chance for dignity, for dreams to take flight. But this transformation needs your voices. Speak to Housing TV Africa and let the world witness the resilience of those who fight for a better place to call home. Let our cameras capture the tears of joy, the shared laughter, the spirit of unity that shines brighter than any hardship. Get in touch with Housing TV Africa today and be a voice of hope to people living in the slum. Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.
Hi, I'm Bob Weinsheng, CEO of iBuild Global. Keep watching the Housing Development Program.
You're watching Housing Development. Paying rent monthly is not a common practice in Nigeria because of various factors. For one, building a house in Nigeria is quite expensive, and most landlords want to recover their investment as quickly as possible. Secondly, Nigeria does not have a credit score system as other countries do. This means that landlords are at risk of tenant default as they can't trust their tenants can pay their rent on a month-on-month basis. Well, let's see more reactions on the monthly rent payment.
Reacting to this, Prince Oluseyi Lufadeju, Chairman Board of Trustee, Redden, says the outcry and worrying by people over the resolve is not necessary as both systems are being operated in Nigeria at the present.
I do not really see why the outcry, why people are worried about paying rents in monthly or yearly. Because in any case, both systems are in operation in the country at the present moment. Some people are paying monthly, some people are paying yearly. So it depends on who is talking, who wants to determine whether to pay rent either monthly or yearly. If it's the developer, the landlord, the person who is building properties for rent and for sale, of course, such a person will prefer to get his rent yearly, because then he will have opportunity to have bulk money to continue development. He will have less problems in terms of administration of rent on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis. And of course, it makes it easy for him to ensure that there is full utilization of the property for the full year instead of having just for a few months.
He, however, pins the problem on shortage of houses, stating that the system should be flexible and left to the market forces to determine.
The whole problem is due to shortage of accommodation. If we have sufficient properties and everybody has access, the problem will not be there, it will not linger. And I think it has to do with the development of our credit system. If people have a credit rating that will ensure that they are in a position to pay their rent, there won't be any problem, there won't be any need for the landlord to be asking for yearly payment, because he knows that the rent payment is guaranteed because the person has a good rating. In terms of having good credit, he will not default in payment of rent.
Mrs. Erizua Agbontine, a resident of FCT, in her reaction, says what is necessary at this point is for the government to make our laws people-friendly, as this will help the common man.
I think it's for us to make our laws and our initiatives people-friendly, because everybody is not a pauper in Nigeria, and everybody is not a millionaire. So we look at it. Where do the majority of the people stand? And it is what is people-friendly. A man who lives in a penthouse, in a skyscraper, will not even be thinking of paying monthly because he has other things to do with his money. But there are those of us who don't live in penthouses. We live in, well, houses for the masses. And the truth is that you don't pay rent from the money you have not earned.
While many condemn the idea on the basis of lack of institution and delaying court judgments to support monthly rent payments in the case of default, few are of the opinion that Nigeria cannot operate in isolation, saying it is the practice globally.
I found out that after getting a land in Federal House in Lugbe, they said it has an AMAC paper. But all of a sudden, at the end of the day, I was informed that it's no longer AMAC, it's FHA. And today, I'm no longer in custody of that land. I've lost the land because they say it's not AMAC land, it's FHA. But I don't know the difference between AMAC and FHA.
When you are looking at fraud in real estate, the foundation of that fraud, the governments, they are the architects of this fraud.
One of the things that causes all this fraud in the country is because of the system of the country does not work. Somebody do a fraud and is being allowed to get away with it. And that's why you discover that there are a lot of people that are scammers. They go into a business that they are really there to sap money from people.
Your plight, your concerns, your issues related to housing, livelihood and social development. This is why we have established Housing TV Africa. Keep a date with us on Star Times and DSTV 247. Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.
As of today in Nigeria, we have a housing shortfall that runs into millions. What strategy should the government employ to make housing more affordable and accessible to Nigerians, especially the low-income earners? Against this backdrop, to promote development in the African housing industry, Africa International Housing Show is bringing leading stakeholders from across various countries in Africa and beyond to exchange ideas, share the latest trends and knowledge, network and interact on ways to solve the affordable housing problem in Africa. This year's event promises to be action-packed with a theme financing the housing we need. This year's AIHS will also focus on the new generation of real estate professionals across the board, which is the Under 40 Professionals Meetup, which is tagged New Generation of Affordable Housing Leaders. Plan to be a part of this year's Africa International Housing Show happening from the 22nd to the 25th of July 2024 in Abuja, Nigeria. Now here's a quick one from the organizers of Africa International Housing Show.
Would you like to be a part of the groundbreaking initiative shaping the future of housing in Africa? Join us for the 18th edition of Africa International Housing Show, ARHS, the continent's largest housing and construction expo, with a legacy of excellence spanning 17 editions. AIHS stands as Africa's largest platform for showcasing the latest in housing and construction innovations. Join us for a dynamic showcase featuring product presentations, exhibitions of cutting-edge building technologies, home interiors, construction equipment, mortgage services, and much more. Meet the market, engage in interactive forums with industry leaders and stakeholders from various countries, participate in matchmaking, breakfast meetings, and B2B sessions. Don't miss out on this opportunity to network, collaborate, and drive positive change in the housing sector across Africa. Save the date for AIHS, where opportunity meets innovation. Register and book a stand today at Africa International Housing Show, coming up this July 19th to 25th, 2024 at International Conference Center, Abuja. Visit www.africahousingshow.com to register or call +234 816 657 0090. Be there.
It is time to embrace town planning for sustainable development in the country, where effective town planning is carried out. Social and economic facilities are equitably distributed and accessible to the population. Health challenges will be minimized, productivity will greatly improve, wealth will increase, and safety will be enhanced. The enactment of the Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Law in 1992, which became an Act of Parliament as Cap N138 LFN 2004, stipulates that approval of relevant development control department shall be required for any land development. Let us say no to unplanned settlements. Say no to illegal and unauthorized developments. Say no to land grabbing. Avoid demolition. Let's end the rising proliferation of illegal structures and housing estates. Engage in only approved development. Let's bring sanity back to our land. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners with the support of the Housing Development Advocacy Network.
I'm Debbie Erb. I work for OPIC in the United States, and keep watching the Affordable Housing Development Program.
The construction industry is a vital part of the nation's economy, and the government must play a vital role in the delivery of housing provision. For people who pay rent, it is their dream to become landlords someday, but this will take a lot of conscious efforts with the present economic situation in the country. A vast majority of Nigerians live in rented apartments, groaning under the heavy weight of rent payment. Every family has a right to enjoy decent and affordable housing. Many thanks for watching Housing Development today. You can watch today's episode over again and previous ones on the YouTube channel Housing TV Africa. I remain your housing diva, Fleur Annie. See you soon.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.